My name is Anjali Hanuman and I support the 16 Days of Activism against gender-based violence.
My name is Neve Moodley and I support the 16 Days of Activism against gender-based violence.
My name is Nadine Parshotam and I support the 16 Days of Activism against gender-based violence.
One of the topics that I will be speaking about is violence in childhoods and how it shapes future behavior and emotional health. Violence in childhood leaves deeper marks than most people realize. When a child grows up being exposed to fear, harm, or instability, it affects the way they see themselves and the world around them. Instead of being safe and protected, they learn to expect danger, and this shapes their behavior for future years to come. Children who experience violence often struggle with trust, confidence, and managing their emotions. They may become anxious, withdrawn, or overly alert because their minds have been trained to look for threats. Others may react with aggression, not because they are naturally violent, but because they've never learned healthier ways to cope with stress or express their feelings. These early experiences can also affect some school performance, friendships, and decision-making. A child who does not feel safe cannot focus, cannot explore, and cannot grow the way that they should be. But on a positive note, healing is possible. With support, understanding, and safe environments, children can rebuild their sense of security and learn healthier ways to respond to the world. The second topic is how safe homes and schools are essential. A safe home is more than a roof over their head. It is a place where children feel loved, supported, and protected. When families live in safety, they can focus on growing, learning, and building a better future. Safety at home allows children to develop confidence, stability, and the emotional strength they need to face the world. Just as important are safe schools, places where students can learn without fear. Schools should be environments where curiosity is encouraged, friendships are built, and every child feels valued. When students feel safe, they can concentrate on their education, express themselves freely, and reach their full potential. Safe homes and safe schools work together. A child who feels secure at home carries that stability into the classroom, and a child who feels protected at school brings those positive experiences back home. This connection creates healthier families, stronger communities, and a brighter future for everyone. Teaching children to speak up and seek help. One of the most important lessons that parents can teach their children is the courage to speak up when something doesn't feel right. Too often, children are taught to stay quiet, to avoid conflict, or to keep the peace. While respect and politeness matter, silence should never come at a cost of their safety, their boundary, or their sense of self. Learning to speak up begins with giving them permission to use their voices. Kids need to know that their feelings matter, their instincts matter, and their opinions matter. When something feels uncomfortable or unsafe, they should feel confident saying, "I don't like that. That doesn't feel right," or "I need help." Their voice is their first line of protection. To help them build this confidence, an environment must be created where children are safe to express themselves without the fear of being shut down, punished, or ignored. When a child goes to a parent with a concern, big or small, how parents respond shapes whether they'll ever be able to speak up again. If parents listen with patience and take their children's feelings seriously, they teach them that their voice is valued. If they feel minimized or told to stay quiet about their feelings, they learn to doubt themselves. Children need to learn the difference between disrespect and self-advocacy. Speaking up doesn't mean being rude. It means being honest. It means standing up for what is right. It means protecting your boundaries and trusting your intuition. Children who learn this skill early grow into adults who can communicate clearly, avoid unhealthy relationships, and make safer choices. Children need to know that keeping the peace is never more important than their well-being. Peace built on silence is not peace, it is suppression. True peace comes from honesty, safety, and mutual respect. When we empower children to speak up, we give them more than confidence. We give them protection, independence, and emotional strength. We are taught that our voice matters, that our boundaries matter, and that we deserve to be heard. My final topic is how bullying in school affects child's mental health and well-being. Bullying is more than just teasing. It is intentional, repeated, hurtful behavior that can be physical, verbal, social, or even online. It can look like punishing someone, spreading rumors, making fun of them, excluding them from groups, or sending them mean messages. No matter the form, bullying leaves children feeling scared, lonely, and powerless. This is a major problem in schools, and some children feel isolated when it comes to seeking help. But there are ways a child can respond. Children need to understand that bullying is not their fault. To build some sort of confidence, it begins with knowing their worth. If they face bullying, they should try to stay calm, stand tall, and use a strong, clear voice to say, "Stop, I don't like that." This shows the bully that they are not an easy target. Children should remember that they do not have to face bullying alone. They can talk to a trusted adult, a teacher, counselor, or parent. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of courage. Adults can step in, monitor situations, and protect them. Kids should practice kindness in themselves. If or when they see someone being bullied, they can speak up, offer comfort, or get an adult. Being an upstander, not a bystander, creates a safer school for everyone. Thank you.
For my first topic, I will be discussing how abuse often destroys a person's beliefs in themselves. It implants self-doubt, internal criticism, and this is often a result of abusers using manipulation and constant criticism to blame the victim. And over time, the victim starts to believe that in all negative narratives. They begin to feel powerless, hopeless, and relentless. The victim comes to believe that they have no control over their safety and lives. When a person is being abused, their integrity and say emotionally abused, the victim could have a bad impression about themselves and could severely damage their self-image. Abusers typically isolate victims from support systems that make them believe their friends and family do not care for them and that they are unlovable and deserving of abuse. My second topic is building inner strength through faith, family, and support systems. To build inner strength, one of the most helpful ways are to cultivate a deep connection with God by doing daily prayers and meditation to foster a relationship with the divine. To practice gratitude and hope by expressing gratitude for daily blessings can have you have a positive perspective, and it also helps you get motivation to move on. And lastly, to align your beliefs and values with your life and helps you navigate challenges through confidence and integrity. Through family, you should prioritize family times for like the simple things like meals or just doing fun activities together. This helps strengthen not only bonds but also your inner strength to grow as a person. For my third topic, encouraging individuals to know their worth and their rights. One of the most important things that you can do to help one know their worth and rights is to practice self-compassion. So basically what this means is to treat yourself with the same kindness that you would to others, to friends and families. You need to stop the negative talk and set healthy boundaries that allows you to know your self-worth and empowers you to communicate clear boundaries for others for your well-being. Reflect on all your achievements and keep a journal of wins and as a reminder of your capabilities. Engage in self-confidence is to help you grow. Prioritize activities that promote physical, mental, and emotional health that benefit you. Surround yourself with positivity and positive people that cultivate good thoughts and uplift you. Knowing your rights. Knowing your rights is very important because it helps remind the individuals that they are entitled to dignity and integrity as worth of being human beings. Education is key for people to know their rights and worth. Aside from talking about rights, it also helps them to know, besides some education about your rights, it also helps people to build and know that they are not the only ones in the situation. It helps them to stand up for themselves in the position and know what others are doing to them isn't right. Thank you.
Firstly, I will discuss how communities play a powerful role in protecting vulnerable individuals. Safety doesn't just begin with the police or hospitals, it begins in communities. Gender-based violence thrives in silence, isolation, and environments where abuse is treated as something private. But when communities actively pay attention, speak out, and prioritize safety, it becomes difficult for the abuse to continue unchecked. Communities help break the cycle of silence. When we openly condemn GBV and talk about it without shame, victims feel supported enough to reach out. A culture of openness interrupts the idea that abuse must be endured quietly. Communities act as early warning and early response systems. Friends, teachers, neighbors, and religious leaders are often the first to note the subtle red flags, like changes in behavior, isolation, unexplained injuries, or sudden fearfulness. When people know what signs to look for, they can check in compassionately and intervene before the situation escalates. Communities provide emotional, psychological, and even material support. A supportive community is one that says you have a place here and you are not alone, can be the turning point in someone's ability to leave and rebuild. Community protection isn't about policing people's lives, it's about cultivating a culture of care. A community that protects vulnerable individuals is one where people genuinely look out for one another, where empathy is normal, and where every person feels a sense of belonging. Next, I'll touch on collective responsibility to intervene, support, and guide. One of the strongest messages of the 16 Days of Activism is that ending GBV is everyone's responsibility, not just the survivors, not just the NGOs or police, but all of us collectively. Intervening doesn't always mean stepping into a physical situation. It means using whatever influence, position, or awareness we have to break harmful patterns and support those at risk. Intervention starts with awareness. We need to be able to recognize the signs of emotional, psychological, financial, and physical abuse. When something feels off, collective responsibility means we don't ignore it. We check in, we ask gentle questions, and reaffirm safety. Sometimes that simple moment of acknowledgement is the lifeline that someone needs. Supporting survivors involves both emotional and practical care. Emotionally, it means believing survivors, validating their feelings, and avoiding victim blaming. Practically, it can mean offering transport to safety, assisting with reporting the abuse, helping them find counseling, or simply a safe space to talk. But collective responsibility also means guiding perpetrators away from harmful behaviors. GBV will not end if we only support survivors. We must also challenge the attitudes that enable abuse. Harmful jokes, patriarchal norms, silence around violence, or the cultural belief that certain behaviors are normal or acceptable. This means having those difficult conversations with friends and family. It means modeling respect, equality, and accountability. Collective responsibility is not just about being heroes, it's about being human. GBV is a social issue, so the solution has to be social too. When we stand together, violence loses its power. Lastly, I'll share how Arya Samaj South Africa acts as a community of care. Arya Samaj SA already has the foundations of a deeply caring, values-driven community, and those foundations are our tools in the fight against GBV. The Arya Samaj philosophy emphasizes truth, compassion, righteousness, and service to humanity. These are not just spiritual ideals, they are practical guidelines for building a safe, supportive environment. By bringing these values into everyday life, the organization can become a consistent source of protection for vulnerable people. One way Arya Samaj can act as a community of care is through education and awareness. Our ashrams, youth groups, and community gatherings are safe spaces where topics like healthy relationships, consent, and gender equality can be discussed openly. We also partake in awareness campaigns using posters and pamphlets. There have been workshops on recognizing abuse and early signs, conflict resolution, and mental health workshops. When these conversations are normalized within a spiritual community, they help shift mindsets and challenge harmful cultural norms. Arya Samaj is also pivotal in strengthening family and community bonds through gatherings and events where people come together. GBV thrives where people feel isolated, but in a close-knit, value-driven religious community, no one should ever feel alone or unsupported. This allows small acts like a quick check-in between friends, a conversation with a neighbor, creating a sense of belonging that will build resilience and solidarity within our community. Arya Samaj can model what a culture of accountability looks like, just like us here today, openly condemning GBV, advocating for gender equality, encouraging people to share their stories without fear or judgment, and even us as members pledging no tolerance for GBV. This organization can lead by example within the broader South African community. Arya Samaj South Africa can be a place where spiritual values translate into real, tangible support, where survivors feel safe, families feel guided, and the entire community unites to break the cycle of violence. Thank you.
Today has been a very enlightening experience, especially having the young ladies with us today. Nadine, Anjali, and Neve will have done an exceptional piece of work when it has, in terms of doing the research and bringing all that information to the fore. In closing, I would like each one of you to give us an input about the 16 days of activism and the gender-based violence, the research that you have done and how it has helped you, and what is your last message to our viewers and followers against gender-based violence. And I think I want to start with you, Neve.
Okay, so on the topic of abuse, people who are emotionally abused often keep quiet, and by doing this, it gives the abuser the chance to throw negative comments and often leading them to not speak up and be unheard. The individuals need to break the silence, and as a community, we must also break the silence.
Okay, so you have a strong viewpoint that people must speak out.
Yes.
And break the
Silence.
Okay, that's very good. Anjali, you have also done quite a lot of research, and especially in terms of the educational needs and the youth. Can you give us an insight, and how would you like to close off, and what's your message to everybody?
With what I have researched, I've noticed that there are many people who feel like there's no one around them to help. One of the most important keynotes that I've highlighted is that you are not alone. You must seek help, a guardian, teacher, counselor, or even someone in your spiritual community. There's always someone out there to help you. Speak up. Ask for help. You are not alone.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you for that input. And we're going to ask Nadine to close off our session today. Nadine?
I have learned that ending gender-based violence is not something that one person or one survivor can do alone. Our communities need to come together and commit to awareness, accountability, and compassion to cultivate this culture of care. Every act of support, no matter how small, helps create an environment where abuse cannot hide. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's conclude in saying, we all say no
to gender-based violence.
Once again,
No to gender-based violence.
thank you, ladies, for being with us this morning, and all the sacrifice, the time that you've taken in doing the research. And from Arya Samaj South Africa, we thank you for being with us, and my